Ann, welcome to Fort Wayne. We have been waiting for this, and I know that there's been some anticipation for you too. Welcome to the Summit City.
I am so happy to be here. And by the way, it's not an easy city to get to.
No, it's not. But once you're here, it's awesome to get around. And
You've
already found some nice places around town that you've enjoyed. So
yeah, we walked around today, that Mexican bakery and the Hyde bookstore. Oh, it's fantastic.
There you go.
The main thing that we have noticed about this town, everyone is so nice.
Yeah. Well, you're back out in Middle America here. You're not on the coast, you know. you're not with the upper libs or the nutcases on the left coast. So that's it. So, but you know what? Here in the Middle America, we're getting a little scared. Because, you know, I mean, I got to tell you, Ann, you know, I take calls every day from people for 3 hours a day, and you hear them whether you're on Fox or responding to your books. This time, we really do have a reason to be frightened, don't we?
Yes, I'm worried America could be at the tipping point. I don't think so yet. I think we have a good shot. I'll say some of this in my speech tonight, but I mean, Obama won because incumbents always win, and he did less well than any other incumbent to win in a century.
Right.
It turned out the hidden vote, I mean, Gallup, I don't know if you remember this, before the election, Gallup had Romney up by 5 points.
Exactly.
Even after the hurricane, he was up by 1 point. The hidden votes, the secret votes of the last election, interestingly, the census does this, and they do a very careful accounting of it, was elderly black women. So Republicans don't have to be so worried in the sense of this being the wave of the future. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't young white women terrified about their birth control.
Right.
Even though I keep making fun of them, it turns out young people, that is, voters under the age of 30, voted for Romney in higher numbers than they voted for Reagan if they were white.
Right.
What's changed is the demographics.
And it wasn't by great, huge numbers the Hispanic vote either, which not everybody, we're trying to reshape all of America and go chasing them, and I think we're going to put a lot of energy in something we don't need to put a lot of energy in.
No, we need to get the white vote.
Yeah.
Where Republicans were hurt the most was where Obama had been working the hardest to get, especially the blue-collar, middle class and lower middle class white vote, male vote especially. It was in the Midwest. It was basically every place the auto bailout hit, and Obama's been working on that since before he became president.
And so let's measure that now. Here we are, less than a year from that election, and let's look at those same people, middle class, male, union worker Americans. The AFL-CIO comes out with a resolution this week, and they're telling the president, let's put the brakes on this Obamacare because this is really starting to hurt our people. First of all, I was a little incensed. What about when it was hurting me? But now it's hurting them. Is this divide that's kind of fracturing between the president and the unions, will that ever amount to much of anything? Because now we are talking about real money and real pain.
Yes, it might, at least in terms of Obamacare. When you have all these unions that endorsed Obama and endorsed Obamacare, now that it's hitting them, I think this is what makes Ted Cruz's threatened government shutdown very different from the one back in 1995. I was working for the Senate Judiciary Committee back then, and it is true that the government shutdown, which was over the budget deficit, by the way, something Democrats pretend to care about and never do.
Right. And they'll blame us anyway.
Right. The Republicans were hurt by that, but I think they've been living too scared since then. It was 20 years ago. There was no Fox News. Talk radio wasn't as big as... Nobody was on the internet back in 1995. That was when people first started. Remember, think of when you all got on the internet.
Exactly.
It was right around then that people started to get on the internet. So A, the media landscape has changed. B, it's not just something abstract like the budget and the deficit. This is Obamacare, and Americans still hate Obamacare. And C, Ted Cruz and Mike Lee are really smart and really attractive.
Yeah.
And they don't have to shut the government down. Just keep pushing it. Do the Obamacare defunding. We'll delay giving it to the IRS. The IRS is going to be running this in the middle of all these corruption scandals.
Yeah.
And then finally, if nothing else, they have got to at least get a vote and get the Democrats to vote on all of this. Obamacare applies to Congress and its staff the way it applies to the rest of us, because Charles Grassley, God bless him, put in an amendment to Obamacare. It must apply to Congress and congressional staff, and as soon as it starts to go into effect, they give themselves a waiver.
And it should say that it also applies to GE and McDonald's and all the big contributors to the Democrat Party. You dropped a couple of names a minute ago, so in our little bit of time we have left, we are all expectantly looking to the next time around. We got to get through the midterms, but if we do that and if we hang together as we should as conservatives, when we get to 2016, Hillary is the big push on the left right now. Of course, she was 8 years ago, too.
Yeah.
But on the right, at a time in the past, you were in love with Christie, I was in love with Christie, and he has caused us to fall out of love with him.
Mm-hmm.
There's some real skepticism to Marco Rubio because of all the...
Dead to me.
Yeah, because of all the immigration.
Amnesty.
And did that not just shock the snot out of you, Marco Rubio?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
really?
that's not how he ran.
No.
He attacked Charlie Crist, saying a path to legalization. This is code for amnesty.
Yeah. So in our closing seconds, if we don't name the WHO right now, because I don't think any of us want our name on there, what is it that we need in 2016?
A couple of things. The big thing is Republicans have got to go back to what they have always been, and that is a populist party. We are the party of the middle class. We're not the party of the plutocrats. We're not the party of the Mark Zuckerbergs and who is it? Sheldon Adelson, Foster Friess.
Sure.
We are not the billionaire party. We're the millionaires. We're the upper middle class and the middle class. We stand for Americans. And to be slightly more specific now, no congressman, no inspirational figures, no one who's a businessman who's never run for office before. And I can say that because I supported Pat Buchanan, Steve Forbes, Pete DuPont, who's the equivalent of a congressman, the governor of a teeny tiny little state. It has got to be a governor or a senator from a pretty big state.
Yeah. Last question, I promise, then we got to go. And we're so looking forward to hearing everything tonight. We're just thrilled you're here. Indiana, we're taking some pretty strong conservative stances here in Indiana.
Yes.
We're staying fiscally conservative. We're doing right to work. We put Mike Pence in the governor's mansion. Do you see a little Mike Pence somewhere in the future for the country?
Maybe, definitely in the running of the governors. There's Pence, I'd say Rick Snyder of Michigan, Rick Scott of Florida if he wins re-election.
Yes. What about the Wisconsin governor?
Maybe. I think I say let's throw them all in a debate and see how they play. Of the senators, there's Ted Cruz, there's Mike Lee, there's Ron Johnson of Wisconsin.
Yes.
I love these guys. They're obviously bright. They have the right position to run. And a lot of it is just the gravitas, how they come across in a debate. Do they have appeal to a regular guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I say throw them in the debate and see how it goes. But no congressmen in our debates. No inspirational figures. I love Ben Carson. No. They have to have run for office.
If it gave you a headache last time, it'll give you a headache next time. So let's don't do that again. Again, welcome to Fort Wayne. We're going to have a terrific evening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So good to be here.
Thank you.